as you guys know, if you've been on my channel since before, well, I guess since the last transfer window, you will know my opinion on most transfer stories is it's a bunch of fake bullshit that is made for clicks and views, right? So, a lot of transfer news now coming up around Man City, well, transfer news, because, oh, look at this, they need players, they're desperate for players, which, yes, is true. Most of this transfer news is so boring that I can't make a dedicated video to it. So I suppose, tell me your realistic transfers down below, yeah? What is realistic for Man City right now? Because I see a lot of disagreements here for Man City fans on what is realistic, what isn't realistic, what our budget will be, what we will do, let's stand realistic. So tell me down below what yours is, but let me just go through a few of these here that I've been seeing popping up lately, and let me tell you why it's likely or not likely. So the first one, Gvaradona. Gvaradona. That's what I call him because I can't pronounce his actual name. Who the fuck thinks he's actually coming? Who the fuck thinks? Yeah, just try to think of it this way. Man City has Bernardo Silva, Oscar Bob, Savinho, Doku, Gruish, Mateus Nunes, who can all play on the wing. That is 6 players who could play on the wing. Now, you could argue some of them are not wingers, some of them are wingers. Regardless. At the very least, you have 4 wingers in there. You might argue, well, one of them might go. You really think Gvaradona is replacement 10? Let's say Bernardo Silva leaves. Are we replacing him into Gvaradona? How much game time will he get? Like, realistically. Savinho and Doku are gonna get hella game time. Oscar Bob is a starter the moment he comes back. Mateus Nunes will get minutes here and there. Sure, he might leave. We're not gonna bring in a player that is expected to play more than 10 games a season. Like, let's be realistic here. Gvaradona is not coming. Just not happening. Just words on a screen. Next one. Bruno Guimaraes. People still talking about it. People recently been talking about it a lot again. I saw a report, an article, claiming he had a £100 million price tag or something. I think it's too late. I think it's a ship that has been sailed. He clearly does not want Man City, from the way he talks. He doesn't give a fuck. He loves Newcastle United. He doesn't care if he wins fuck all in his career, it seems. So, why bother? If this guy hasn't been drooling at his mouth, foaming from his mouth, yeah, to be getting at Man City in the summer, he's not gonna start now. Realistically, we're gonna look at Zubimendi. Zubimendi, yeah? He's seen Rodri win the Ballon d'Or. He's the best Spanish player that you could argue in the 21st century. You could argue that's the best Spanish player he has seen in his entire life. They play the same position. He's going to Man City potentially to play under a manager that loves the style that Zubimendi plays in. Zubimendi plays in a similar style as Rodri would, especially for Spain. He gets to be the understudy of Rodri. Pep Guardiola, the greatest Spanish manager ever, cheaper, potentially better for Man City, better fitted. Why would we take Bruno Guimaraes over Zubimendi? It does not make sense for me. Overrated, I see it. Yeah, he kind of is. He's not worth 100 million in my opinion. Most of these players who get sold for 100 million are not 100 million. Like, let's be honest. Like this guy, bro. There was a time when you would not even fetch 30 million, bro. What is football? Anyhow, that's besides the point. Inflation, I suppose. Zubimendi just seems the way to go for me. Now, if we get Bruno Guimaraes, I'm not gonna say I will not be surprised, but it would surprise me more if we got Barella or something like that, or if we got that young guy at Everton, what is his name, Wharton or something like that. That will surprise me more. But I'm not gonna be surprised if we or well, I'm not gonna be that surprised if we get Bruno Guimaraes. I just don't think it's gonna happen. I really don't. So, another winger. People. Now, I don't know if this is even remotely true or not, but people, I need you to think for a whole 10 seconds. What does Man City need right now? Let me show you guys something, yeah? Let me show you guys something, if it wants to load. This is Man City's team. Let me show you the players Man City has. No Rodri, obviously, because of injury. Oscar Bob comes back in January. So when we're going in the January transfer window, we need to keep in mind Oscar Bob is going to be back. So here are our wingers. You please tell me why we need another winger. Whilst if you contrast that with our defensive midfielders, we have one injured guy. Kovacic can play as a 6, but he's not a 6. He's an 8. That's why he has the number 8. Gundogan can play as a 6, but he's not a 6. He's an 8. Rico Lewis can play as a 6, but he's not a 6. He's a mediocre midfielder. Like, let's be honest. He's one of our own tags, and he's not that good. I'm not gonna lie. He needs more time to develop. I think he really needs more time. Nico O'Reilly can play as a 6, but he's not a 6. He's an attacking midfielder. Like, go watch him at the academy. John Stones can play as a 6, but he's not a 6. We have only one 6 in this team, and he's injured until the end of the season. Where are our priorities? A winger or a 6? Now, Echeverri is coming in. I'm not gonna pay that, my guy. Echeverri is coming in. Echeverri is a 10 or an 8. I've seen different arguments. I haven't watched him, but I've seen different arguments on whether he's a 10 or an 8. Nobody has ever argued that he's a 6. So, Echeverri, you could argue, well, he's gonna be our 10. We don't need to buy an attacking midfielder immediately. But what do we need in this team? Stones, Ake, Walker, well, not Walker so much. Stones, Ake, and Akanji are made of glass, so we probably need another defender. Wingers are literally the last on our, like, come on, Foden and De Bruyne and McAtee and Gvardiol can all play on the wing. Half of our team is capable of playing on the wing. You could put Rico Lewis and Gundogan on the wings. Like, almost all of our players can play on the wing. Why would we buy another winger and our midfield is skint? I'm not paying, my guy. Why would we buy another midfielder right now? It makes 0 sense, Blue. 0 sense. Like, I'm not trying to be rude, but please just think about it for 5 seconds before you read stuff like this. It makes 0 sense. Metro. Who the fuck is Metro? Get on your train, bro. Get on your train. This one does make sense, though. Delap. He is actually a Man City Academy product. I'm not sure when he was in our Academy. I don't follow the Academy, by the way. I actually don't give a fuck about it. Yeah, okay, this is the period when he was in our Academy. I don't give a fuck about the Academy, as I said. I'm not sure if he's ever played an adult game for us either. I don't think he has, right? Has he ever played? No, he's never played for our... Oh, he's played for us 6 times. When the fuck has he played for us? This must be when I was on vacation, because I can't remember this. Oh, I do remember him playing in the Carabao Cup for us, actually. I do remember that. But I don't remember any of these games, if I'm gonna be honest. Anyhow, he's from our academy. That's the important part. So, you could argue he knows a bit how it goes at Man City. You could argue his profile is similar to Haaland. It's not too dissimilar if you look at how Haaland played at Dortmund. But to say that he's similar to Haaland is a big stretch. Now here is the big one. Pep will never play him. I have to disagree immediately. What have I said in my last video or the 2 videos ago? I don't know when I said it, but I said it on a video on this channel recently. I said Haaland cannot play 10 games in a row. I said 5 games on the bench, rest him. 5 games on the bench, rest him. So he plays 5 games, get him a game rest. He plays 5 games, get him a game rest. Because Haaland's stamina, bro, he is so fucking brittle. I'm not just talking about injuries here, I'm just talking stamina. Bro, have you seen how this guy goes around on the pitch? This guy is going around on the pitch, yeah? He's fighting 90 minutes. The other players are walking around, they're running sometimes, they're making a sprint, sometimes they're in a push. This guy is fighting a war. Whenever the Haaland is on the pitch, yeah, he makes defenders fight for their life. And he does that game in, game out. Erling Haaland, yeah, does not have the stamina to do that shit 10 games in a row. Which is why, start of the season, Haaland, 5 games, oh, he's really good. Comes back from international break, oh, he's really good. And then he plays 10 games in a row for Man City. And he's like, he gets to not a single ball. The balls he does get to, he misses. You know why he misses those balls? Because he's fucking exhausted. He's fucking exhausted. His legs probably. You see the amount of lazy touches Haaland takes, like in the midway point of the season, like every season. The lazy touches he takes. Why does he take a lazy touch like that? Because his legs are burning, bro. Erling Haaland genuinely needs to play less. So I absolutely disagree with the idea that if he got a good striker, I'm not sure how good Liam Delap is. I'm not gonna lie to you. I'm not gonna say I've watched him at Ipswich. I haven't. But if we get a good striker that Pep trusts, and I assume if he goes and gets Delap, that he does trust him, then we need to play that striker. Not in the big games, not in Champions League, but in the games that like Southampton, those types of games, against Ipswich, against Wolves, against Everton. Those types of games where we don't need Haaland. Just so that Haaland can rest. Because I promise you, he will score more goals if he plays less games. Because he will be more fit. But that's just my take on it. I think our priority for Man City is Zubimendi. That's the first priority. Get Zubimendi in. Just do it. Then, not a striker actually. Oh, he's gonna say something weird. A fullback. We need a fullback. Because Gvardiol can play centre back. Got a fullback on the left. Gvardiol centre back. And then you can have whoever right back. Akanji, Rico Lewis, whatever. Then you have Stones, Diaz rotating for centre back as well. That way you have a proper back four, yeah. A proper back four. Like we saw Aki. So Aki Gvardiol's like centre back then. So Aki Gvardiol, Ruben Diaz, and who was it? Akanji. That we saw against Nottingham Forest. That's a proper back four of physical, good on the ball, defenders, not midfielders, and not Kyle Walker. I don't know what Kyle Walker is, but he's not a defender anymore. He's a duck without a head, or a headless chicken, I suppose. What is it in English? Headless chicken, I believe. Anyhow, that's besides the point as well. Our priority now is defensive midfielder, fullback. Out attack is just fine. Get Haaland more rest, but for the rest, out attack is just fine. Especially with the De Bruyne back, at very potentially being a prospect. I'm not sure how much he'll play though. After we've got those two things, get a second striker. Delap. Denki. It's one that I've been talking about. Igor Thiago. Keep your eyes on Igor Thiago, by the way. He's a new guy at Brentford. He's gonna tear up the league. He might start slow. He's just back from injury. But I promise you, he'll do well. He'll probably be like Ivan Toney level. So tearing up the league, that might be an overstatement, but you get my point. Anyhow. After we've gotten a striker, I'd probably put the priority on an attacking midfielder. Because De Bruyne, bro, you can't keep running him into the mud, can you now? And then, only then, the fifth thing that I will talk about is a winger to replace Bernardo Silva. So, I don't know why all these reports about wingers, but wingers is literally the lowest on our priorities right now. I suppose maybe our goalkeeper. We won't need our goalkeeper in January, so we've got Ortega and Ederson. But if one of them leaves, then we might need a goalkeeper at the end of or well in the summer. But that's not for January. We don't need to worry about that yet. But that's just my opinion. Yeah? Tell me down below if you agree, disagree as always. Like and subscribe if you haven't already. We're trying to get to 500 by the end of the year. It will help out a bunch if you'd subscribe, yeah? Thank you so much to anyone who does, and I'll see you guys on the next one.